Point State Park, Washington State Park, just off of I-5, a little bit north of Vancouver, Washington. If you can hear the road noise in this audio, you can understand when I say just off of I-5. This is our first full day on our nearly 5-week loop trip.
We call it our loop trip because we're going to South Lake Tahoe, then heading to the Grand Tetons, up into Yellowstone, and back home in Washington. Okay, this is a beautiful picnic area with a beautiful little swimming beach. If you can handle being right under the freeway.
This makes me nervous.
Oh my gosh, it's hard to be here.
Let's get this show on the road, man. We got things to do.
There we are, there's our spot, way down there at Casey's RV Park, Riverside RV Park in Westport, Oregon. This is our camp spot at the Train Mountain Railroad Museum in Chiloquin, Oregon. And you can see that there's a water spigot right next to our RV, but there aren't any other hookups. Well, we're not getting a ride on the rails today because there's lightning strikes in the area and they're putting the trains away. We're going to walk around and just get a tour. It's a tiny world. Everything's miniature.
Southern Pacific Rotary Snowplow number 206. So most of these plows are retired, but a few are still used, and it can throw snow 200 feet in either direction.
And we're right inside. Let's walk back that way.
Well, here we are at the Train Mountain Railroad Museum, and that's located in Chiloquin, Oregon, and it is a pretty unique place. It's a huge property devoted to both railroad memorabilia and also miniature trains. In fact, there's, I think, 35 or 36 miles of small-scale train track where people can either bring their own little miniature train things, which is kind of unique, and run them on the tracks. And evidently there's people from all over the world that do that. But anyway, they if you come here and you sign the waiver and whatnot, you can ride, take a free ride on these miniature trains, and we were kind of excited to do that. Yeah, man, we can go on one of these little trains. And I haven't done that since I was about 5 or 6 years old. But we walked down to where they board at the depot there, and the guy was saying, well, we're not sure we're going to run the trains because there are lightning strikes in the area. But anyway, we couldn't ride the train because actually when we pulled into the park, you could look off to the east and you could see these big thunderheads forming. We thought, well, hopefully they'll blow by one side or the other of us. Well, that didn't quite happen. They canceled the train rides for the afternoon and we missed out. We were a little bit kind of disappointed. So finally we toured around some of the exhibits over there with railroad snowplows and Pullman sleepers from the 1940s. And some of these things were built in the 1920s. Looked at the miniature rails and all these little miniature village things, little water wheel type thing. There's a lot of cute things kind of geared for gnomes, mostly, I guess, because they're all small scale. It was so hot and muggy. It was really enervating. And so we said, well, we were both parched. Let's go back to the RV and grab something to drink and relax for a minute and try to cool off. About as soon as we got back to the RV, we put the awning out for a little bit of shade, and there was a pit, pat, bitter, pat, bitter, pat. Oh, there's a little bit of rain coming down, so extend the RV awning a little further out, and pit, pat, and pretty soon, pat, 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 and all of a sudden it started hailing. That was
Harvest Host?
our experience. Actually, our very first experience using our Harvest Host membership. So it was pretty unique, and it's going to be memorable.
Yep. And tomorrow? What are we doing tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're packing up and heading to Susanville, California.
There we go.
And staying at the Susanville RV Resort. I think.
Hi, we are in Susanville, California at Susanville RV Park, and we drove from Chiloquin yesterday, about a 3.5 hour drive. It might have been closer to 4 by the time we got here and got set up. But we came here so we would have full hookups and we'd be able to kind of have a little bit of luxury before we move on to Fallen Leaf Campground in Lake Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe, because that is no hookups. We knew we were going to be ready for that. But this was supposed to be our full hookup, just make it easy and, glamping. And we had a little bit of a surprise because we had a real a lot of potholes on the shortcut. Our navigation took us on a shortcut on the way here, and the road was so full of potholes. It was like an obstacle course trying to miss the potholes. Our truck and our RV were so shaken up. We stopped at one point, went in and checked out the RV, and what did we find out?
A mess. We actually suffered from broken oven door glass syndrome. And we walked in, and the front part of the glass, the front glass on the oven door, had completely shattered. It was all over the floor. It took us about 20-25 minutes to clean that mess up, sweep it up, and put all the debris, all the shards of glass into a garbage bag so we could even walk in there. The interior glass was intact. In fact, we secure our oven door. We strap it down with a safety strap, so it wasn't moving, but evidently the glass inside the frame either moved or flexed on this rough road and broke into a million pieces.
And we do use the inside of our oven for storage of pots and pans and things. So fortunately, that one piece of glass, tempered glass or whatever it is, it was strong. It didn't break or anything, so it held everything in there. That was a blessing. We were happy for that.
Yeah, we still have one sheet of glass in there instead of two. So.
And we can do without an oven. We thought that was the only problem, but when we got here to the campground, hooked up our power.
Maybe we should take them inside.
Everything up. Okay, we'll show you what else we had.
What else is going on? What is going on here? We have a power cord coming in through the window.
We do. That's our new electrical hookup.
And there's a camera battery being charged on it. Why are we doing that? Our inverter in these ePros and also in the GeoPros is a pass-through type inverter. So at all times the shore power is routed through the inverter and then powers
Let's go out there and
the receptacles, the standard plug-in house type receptacles. Okay, this, I guess it is open. This isn't standard. I rewired a bunch of things with a lithium battery in here, 200 amp hour, but anyway, if you can see back here is the inverter. And sometimes it'll trip if you overload it, put too high a wattage appliance in one of the plug-ins on the inside of the trailer, and you just come out and you flip this little, when that happens, you flip this little reset switch on the circuit breaker. Well, it's broken. It won't reset. So we have no power to the inside, no AC power, 120 volt alternating current.
But what do we have set up here? Yeah, this just shows how we have our electrical power cord directly hooked in to the power terminal, the extension
Just
cord
plugged an
there.
extension cord off the 20 amp, 120
Yeah.
volt receptacle there on the power pedestal.
This is just, we're just about through Reno, some of the outlying area. Our destination today is South Lake Tahoe, Fallen Leaf Campground. Interstate 580 south, heading toward South Lake Tahoe. Nevada state capital. Ah, big eagle right there. Well, a metal eagle. 7,146 feet. Lake Tahoe, Nevada State Park. We're just passing by the entrance to that. South Lake Tahoe, Highway 50. We are about 21 miles from our destination, Fallen Leaf Campground. We have some rain. First glimpse of Lake Tahoe. Isn't it beautiful? Yes. You can see the strap from our kayaks. But still, look at that. Through the rain on the windshield. This is the road heading into the campground at Fallen Leaf. It's a little rugged, bumpy. Just take it slow and not have any more
In 1,000
problems.
feet, turn right, then keep right.
Oh yeah, I see the station over there. We're waiting to check in and then head to our site number 19. So this is our campsite at Fallen Leaf Campground, South Lake Tahoe, number 19. We're here for 4 days. And this is no hookups. So it's going to be really relaxing. We're close to Fallen Lake. We're about a mile from Lake Tahoe. And we have this little creek in the back of our campground.
I will rest my head at nightfall, and when my body breaks, I'll keep pushing up that mountain, 'cause it's the only way. I take the high road every time. I take the high road every time.
We took a short walk from our campsite, crossed Highway 89, I think it is. Anyway, we crossed the road, walked a little ways to a visitor center, and then we came to this beach. It is called Kiva Beach.
Okay. This is my lovely wife, the little water baby. She has to go get her feet wet.
It's pretty cold.
But she's saying it's pretty cold water. So I guess that's probably about as far as she's going in.
And
She's being kind of a wimp.
It's chilly and it's rocky, so you'd want to have shoes on. Some kind of water shoe.
Here at the Tahoe Historic Site. And this site has been a haven for many people over the centuries. The local indigenous group, the Washoe, came here from the valleys of the eastern Sierras to escape the desert heat, gather food, and enjoy the mountain atmosphere. In the 1870s, the scenic area at the foot of Mount Tahoe became a recreational playground as people flocked to Tahoe from all over the state. Bay Area entrepreneur Lucky Baldwin bought a large tract of land here. Logging stopped and leisure started. The Tahoe Historic Site is made up of 3 summer estates and the remains of the original Tahoe Resort. The historic buildings and grounds are being restored by volunteers and interpreted for the public to enjoy.
It opens at 11, from 11 to 2, and they ask for a $7 donation for a self-guided tour. Oh, there's a wishing well. What a beautiful location. I think this was built in the early 1900s, and Baldwin made his money in silver mines and built this estate on Lake Tahoe and then gave it to his daughter. She used it for a summer home and actually lived until 1967. There are some other cabins here on the property. This site was originally built, a huge hotel was built here on Lake Tahoe in the late 1800s, and I think it burnt down in 1899. And then this estate was built on the property. It's now given over to the federal government as a historic site. We're touring the inside of the Baldwin House, the Tahoe Museum. And we're starting with a history of the Washoe Indian tribe that lived in this area. they started selling baskets. They were basket weavers until John Charles Fremont came to the area, and they discovered silver in the hills. It says within less than a 50-year period, a way of life of the Washoe had disappeared. They were reduced from 3,100 to 500 people by 1870.
For breakfast, you order creamed fish flakes on toast.
Creamed fish flakes on toast at the hotel? What was the name of the hotel?
Hotel Talent.
Hotel Talent. So now we're heading over to the Pope Estate.
Oh, interesting.
Wow, this is beautiful, isn't it? In cabins. So Anne Margaret did a movie here, and it's on the Hallmark Channel now. Its new name is A Place Called Home. And the walk-in closets. Check out the siding of this building. It's just like tree bark. This is the blacksmith shop. And I think they use it for art classes or something. There's another estate here on the historic site, the Heller Estate. Camp Richardson Resort here. So there's our campsite, number 19. And this is the trail that goes to the Lake Tahoe Visitor Center. That's the trail we took. How far? Do you think that's about a mile long trail? About a mile to get to the Visitor Center. And today we're just going to walk through the campground and get to Fallen Leaf Lake.
Okay, we're here at Fallen Leaf Lake, at Fallen Leaf Campground, South Lake Tahoe. Fallen Leaf Lake is just a short stroll from the campground, about 1/8 of a mile. Beautiful spot, but this is our last full day. Tomorrow we're leaving. This is, I think, the southernmost point on our loop trip. Tomorrow we start heading kind of northeast again towards the Grand Teton and Yellowstone. Yeah, be forewarned that if you want to see these popular spots like Eagle Falls or Emerald Bay or some of the other areas, be willing to get up very early because they're just overrun with people, crowds of people.
And this is just early June and it's still very crowded, but nevertheless there are ways to see everything and avoid that, and we've done that.
Be creative, be adaptable.
We have done that, thank God. We thank God for that.
Okay. But we've really enjoyed our stay here.
Yep.
It's a beautiful area, well worth a visit.
Yep, we did go down to State Line where all the casinos are. I bought a t-shirt there yesterday. We saw what that's all about. It was very crowded, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, and we bought a pizza and came back to our camper and really enjoyed the peace and quiet here. It's so beautiful here. Great outdoors here.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of variety depending on what you're looking for.
Downtown South Lake Tahoe. If I was in my 20s or 30s, that might have been fun. But
no, it's not where we're at right now.
There was a lot of people, a lot of rock music, and a lot of liquor being poured.
Yeah, it's something.
But there was a shop with a darn good pizza.
Yeah, really good pizza. So we're going to wrap this video up here. This is going to kind of close out the first part of our loop trip. What we call our loop trip is the first highlight was here, South Lake Tahoe. We're going to close out this video. Be sure you look for our next video because we're going to be going through the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Saying goodbye to our cigar smoking tree. And the little creek that flows behind our campsite.
In all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. In all things, in all things, you're working it out, working it out. For the good of those you